Hello everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about knowing thy enemy, which is fat. Now a lot of people think about fat and they think automatically it's a bad thing. Well, that's wrong, because there are actually good types of fat and bad types of fat. Fat is something that you should get in your diet. It's important to have fat in your diet because it's essential to a well-balanced nutrition. But as with anything, you need to moderate and monitor your intake of it so it doesn't get too high. I'm going to explain to you the different types of fats. There are 3 different types of fat. The first type of fat is saturated fat. And now this is what is generally referred to as the bad type of fat. I say bad, but it doesn't mean you can't have any. That's more like trans fat. I'll get to that in a second. Saturated fat comes from mainly animal sources, and it's solid at room temperature. For example, butter, margarine, that kind of fats. You need to monitor and limit your intake of them because they raise the bad type of cholesterol that you do not want. And as it is with fat, with cholesterol, there are good types of cholesterol as well. So saturated fats they raise the bad type of cholesterol. And the way you can remember the good and the bad is just think of it like this. Saturated, it sounds like, when something gets saturated, it's just soaked. And so if you imagine saturated just like soaked with fat, that's not good. Alright, so you got the second type of fat, which is unsaturated fat. And this is the one that's generally good for you. And so it's usually liquid at room temperature. It's the kind of fat you find... Did I say liquid? Yeah, it's liquid at room temperature. It's the kind of fat you find, like, for example, olive oil, canola oil, natural oils from nuts. Nuts are a great source of not only fats, but protein as well. And, yeah, again, you can think of it with the trick that I just showed you. The saturated is bad, unsaturated, it's not saturated in fat, and it's good for you. Okay, so the third type of fat is actually the fat that is the worst. Because whereas saturated fat, it's okay in moderation, and unsaturated fat is better for you because it lowers or it raises the good kind of cholesterol. Trans fat. Now that's the fat that you see a lot of it on advertising, marketing things that says no trans fat or whatever. The reason why they put that is because there's no recommended healthy dose of trans fat, and that's because it serves as a double whammy. Not only does it lower your good type of cholesterol, but it raises the bad type of cholesterol. So it's just something you should generally stay away from. What it is, it's usually liquid at room temperature, but it's chemically modified. So there you have the idea. It tells you right there. If something's chemically modified, you don't want to put it in your body at all. So it's chemically modified, and what it does is it keeps saturated. I think it keeps saturated fats solid at room temp, or it keeps them solid. So, like, say if you have peanut butter, for example, most peanut butters you might have partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil, and that tells you right there that it's trans fat. Even though it may say 0 grams of trans fat, they get away with that because by law you're allowed to round down. If it's 0.5 grams of fat or trans fat or lower, if it's half or lower, then you're allowed to say that there's technically 0, but they can get away with it. It's a marketing loophole. But yeah, trans fats, you want to stay away from them. I'm here to talk to you actually about the healthy fats. Like I told you, I'm going to make a little treat, a little snack. It's a really, really healthy snack. It's going to be a peanut butter and banana sandwich. And I'm going to show you what peanut butter I get, and it's the kind... Thanks for checking out my video on fats. Be sure to check the description. You will see a link to part 2, as well as other helpful sites about stuff that I mentioned in the video.